And if you need more proof of the negative impact of tariffs, the New York Times is reporting that major American manufacturers and retailers are pausing orders for the winter holidays in the face of skyrocketing costs. Factories in China produce 90% of Christmas goods sold in the U.S. and nearly 80% of all toys. As one op-ed put it, with no transition time, Trump's tariffs have the potential of obliterating the toy business. Joining me now, Rick Woldenberg, CEO of Learning Resources, a company that sells learning-based toys. He is currently suing President Trump over the new tariffs. Thanks so much for being on the show. And give us a sense, what have tariffs done to your business?
Well, it sort of stopped us in our tracks. Economics is a behavioral science, and so when they changed the rules, our decisions changed. Between April 2nd and April 9th, we basically stopped all production in China, and we stopped as much shipping as we could. 19 shipments, unfortunately, got out, raising the cost for those shipments from about $15,000 in duties last year to about $1 million this year for missing it by one day.
Say that again. Say that again, that change?
Those 19 shipments would have produced a bill of about $15,000 last year to import, and this year it will be more than $1 million. And we got 36 hours notice, and it wasn't enough time to stop the shipments. So if we choose to import them, the bill would be $1 million.
So we're hearing a lot about retailers pausing orders for Christmas. How important is the holiday season to your revenue stream?
Well, it's probably 30 to 40% of our annual revenue for the whole industry. It's a massive source of when we make our profits, and that goes further. It also is a massive source of the necessary revenue and profits for your neighborhood stores, national retail chains, and so on. The whole economy revolves around the torrent of buying that goes at Christmas. That's how people get their jobs. So no products, the revenue is going to fall, and there's going to be a price to be paid soon.
The president, I'm sure you were listening to him. He suggested that the things that are wrong with the economy, generally the stock market specifically, are because of Joe Biden and his policies, things that headlines just in the last few minutes in both the Wall Street Journal and CNBC say is absolutely not true, that they're related to tariffs. But I particularly, because you make essentially educational toys, I want to read for you what Donald Trump said about how these concerns that, Christmas is going to be impacted, and the toy business in particular, by tariffs. Quote, Donald Trump, maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls, and maybe the 2 dolls will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. But we're not talking something where we have to go out of our way. They have ships that are loaded up with stuff, quote, unquote. As someone in the business, what's your reaction to that?
Complete outrage that the president of the United States is denigrating our industry and taking away the validity of what we do. We're not a rounding error. We're an important part of the community that we live in. Our company makes educational products. We sell into schools and we sell into homes, and there's a lot of people who depend on what we do. So obviously frustrating that he basically says what happens to us and the 500 people that work in our company is no concern of his. I can tell you that the stock market is going down, in my opinion, because only one thing has changed, and that's these tariffs. The economy was booming when he came in, and he hit us with tariffs. We are responding to the incentives that he's given us. His first tariff at 10% was a big problem for us, and we immediately began canceling events and cutting our spending. It's now gone up into the stratosphere. It's 2.5 times what he said on the campaign trail would be the highest tariff he would put out. There's no way to survive this. We're in the most competitive market in the world. And I'd like to say one other thing. He said, we had to take our medicine. We're not taking medicine here. We're taking poison. This is going to kill these businesses. I'm one of 300,000 businesses in many industries that are similarly situated and similarly affected. We're not a rounding error. You can talk to any of our employees and ask them.
Rick Woldenberg, thank you. I hope you'll come back,
Thank you.
And we'll talk moving forward.